Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. So yet another Xbox game leaked out online, and by this point I don't even really think it's all that surprising anymore, just considering how many teams they have over there. But nonetheless, yet another game leaked out online, and this one is interesting as it's not a game that you would expect coming from Xbox, but then also it is coming from an unexpected studio as well. So we're going to go over that one today, and then also we did get some new details on an upcoming PlayStation exclusive, which I think might be worth keeping an eye on, so we're going to go over that one as well. To start today off, though, we're actually going to be talking about the Steam Deck. Really, the Steam Deck is just such an interesting device, and I know a lot of fans are really looking forward to getting their hands on this thing, and that's the good news because Valve has now officially confirmed a release date. It will be available on February 25th, though, of course, the pre-order process for the Steam Deck is a little bit different. So how this is going to work is that on February 25th, they're actually going to be sending out their first batch of order emails to reservation holders. Remember, you were able to reserve this thing before for $5, and now they'll be sending out order emails in batches to customers where you'll have 72 hours to complete your order. If you do not complete your order within 72 hours, your reservation will then be released to the next person. So do make sure to check your email starting February 25th if you want to complete that order for your Steam Deck. For those that do miss out on that first batch, though, rest assured because they did say that they plan to release new order email batches on a weekly cadence. So just make sure to keep an eye out for that email. Now, for those waiting for reviews before they make that final decision, they did actually talk about this as well. They did say that the press review embargo on the Steam Deck coverage will lift on February 25th. And again, keep in mind that you have 72 hours to complete your order, which will give you plenty of time to check out the different reviews for the Steam Deck before making that final decision. On top of that, it does look like throughout February, you'll get preview coverage and impressions before that. It might not be your final review, but we're going to get plenty of coverage for the Steam Deck over the next month. So if you're looking forward to this thing, mark your calendar for February 25th. As a side note, if you want to go ahead and stock up on some Steam games, I do have a big sale happening right now for the Lunar New Year. As usual, when it comes to Steam, their sales are pretty amazing. I mean, you can pick up games like Horizon Zero Dawn for 50% off. You can get A Way Out for $7.50. Death's Door, that released last year, it's 25% off right now. The Master Chief Collection is $16, and the list just kind of goes on and on. If you are looking to stock up on some games, maybe to play them on the Steam Deck, make sure to go check out that Lunar New Year sale over on Steam. Next up, let's go talk about PlayStation, as they did reveal the February lineup for PlayStation Plus. And overall, I do think that Sony has done a pretty good job with PlayStation Plus this generation so far, but the February games, I have noticed a lot of fans a little disappointed when it comes to this lineup. And yeah, let's just go and check out the games here. You do have UFC 4 for the PlayStation 4, then Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, a Wonderland's one-shot adventure for the PlayStation 4, and then Planet Coaster Console Edition exclusively for the PlayStation 5. And yeah, fans do seem to be a little disappointed in this lineup. I have noticed there's a little bit of confusion when it comes to Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. I have seen some people think that that is the new Tiny Tina's Wonderland that's coming out sometime in 2022, but that's not actually the case here. This is actually a DLC campaign that released back in 2013 for Borderlands 2. So do keep that in mind. This is not the new game. But nonetheless, I think that there's some games here that you can have fun with. It's just not necessarily the most exciting lineup in the world, but if you do like something like Planet Coaster or even UFC, if you are a UFC fan, that's a nice inclusion there with UFC 4. Now, we do also have some unfortunate news for the Battle Royale Hyperscape. This was a game that Ubisoft was really hyping up a few years ago as the next big Battle Royale, and it had some kind of integration with the Twitch community, but things just didn't really work out for this game. Hyperscape never really seemed to have gained much traction, and because of that, Ubisoft has now made the difficult decision to end development on Hyperscape and shut the game down as of April 28th. So that is unfortunate for the team that's been working on this game and the community that is left for Hyperscape. You're only going to have a few months to play this game, and then after April 28th, Hyperscape, unfortunately, again, will be shut down. That's kind of the thing, though, because I don't know if this is necessarily overly surprising. This is something that I have pointed out in the past, but it's interesting to me because there has been some publishers kind of chase the Battle Royale genre trend, and Yes, there's a few mega hits such as Call of Duty Warzone. You, of course, have Fortnite. There's PUBG. You also have Apex Legends. But outside of those, for every hit that you have, there's also several misses. And I think Hyperscape is yet another example of just that. Okay, so let's go and talk about Xbox, as it looks like yet another Xbox game did leak out online, which I don't really find all that surprising anymore. If you think about it, after this Activision Blizzard acquisition, they're going to have like 50 plus teams, so we're probably going to hear about a lot of their games in the coming years, and this is just the latest one, which is actually pretty interesting. So this one is coming from Jeff Grubb over on Grub Snacks, and he does have a pretty good track record for this type of stuff, and he claims that Xbox has now inked a new deal with certain Affinity on a Monster Hunter style of game. Yeah, so this one is a little unexpected, both in terms of the style of game it is, as well as the studio itself. Certain Affinity is actually a studio made up of ex-Bungie employees, and they're actually very talented, but primarily they have been a support studio over the years. They've worked on various Halo games, they've worked on Doom, they've worked on Call of Duty, and the list goes on and on. They've even worked on Left 4 Dead, so they are very good at what they do. But here with this project, this is their own completely original project. So it will be really interesting to see what they can do with their own project. And I do think that it makes sense for them to do that with Xbox. And the reason I say that is because, again, they have been working with Xbox for over a decade by this point. So Xbox knows the talent that they have there, and it seems like they have pretty good trust in them, and that's why they're signing a partnership here for this Monster Hunter style of game. Now, that is where I think things are really interesting, though, because this is a Monster Hunter style of game, and you don't really see too many of those anymore. I mean, there for a while, especially on the PlayStation Vita, there was several of these Monster Hunter-like games, including God Eater, Freedom Wars, Soul Sacrifice, and even Tweakedin, and they did actually have some success primarily over in Japan. But this was all before Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World really has catapulted this genre into a new light. And for the first time, games like this are popular worldwide rather than just Japan. So I do think that this is a bit of an untapped genre, especially over on Xbox. If they can do this right, then this could end up being really big, especially with it launching directly into Xbox Game Pass. I do feel like a game like this fits perfectly into the Xbox Game Pass formula. They did actually have Monster Hunter World in the Xbox Game Pass for a long time, but as successful as that game is, to keep it there long term would have been really expensive, and that's where a game like this comes in. So this is a good long-term solution for Xbox, and it can kind of be like Sea of Thieves in the sense that it grows with Xbox Game Pass. This does kind of showcase one of the great things about Xbox Game Pass, though. It does show that Xbox is more willing to try new things. They need more variety and they need more content for Xbox Game Pass, and this is just the latest example of that. This is different than what you would expect for Xbox, but when you start to think about it, it makes perfect sense, especially, like I said before, with the inclusion of Xbox Game Pass. Let me know what you think about all of this, though. Are you interested in a Monster Hunter style of game developed by Certain Affinity and published by Xbox Game Studios? Let me know in the comments below. Let's go and talk about PlayStation, though, as they just revealed that they are building a team from the ground up for an upcoming PlayStation 5 online game. This is coming from PlayStation London Studio that did post this over on Twitter. And this might actually be worth keeping an eye on because they do have some talent over there. PlayStation London Studio isn't necessarily a studio that gets a lot of recognition because they have worked on some more niche projects in the past, including things like SingStar, You Have Dance Party, iPad, and things like that. But most recently, they worked on Blood and Truth, and it's this game in specific that really showcases the talent that they have over there. Now, a lot of you all probably haven't played this game because it is a PlayStation VR game, and I understand that PlayStation VR is niche, but this was advertised as one of the first big AAA VR games, and it absolutely was. This was a great game that very much fit in with PlayStation Studios in general. They do work on those single-player blockbuster style experiences, and Blood and Truth very much was that. It felt like you were basically playing in an action movie, and to this day, it is one of my favorite experiences in virtual reality. So they do have some talent, and ever since Blood and Truth released, I've really been excited to see what they'll do next. I feel like that was kind of their breakthrough game. Of course, this is a separate team though, but it is nice to see that this studio is working on multiple games. Now, one of the interesting things about this, though, is that they are saying that this is some kind of online game, and this, quite frankly, is something that Sony needs more of. A lot of their first-party studios focuses more on that single-player style of content, so it is nice to see them here build a brand new team to make an online game. It is a nice little change of pace, but it does seem like Sony is trying to improve on that front a little bit this generation. They have been partnering up with some different third-party developers as well, including Firewalk. They also partnered up with Jade Raymond's new studio to work on some online multiplayer style of games. So it does seem like that they're going to get a little bit more multiplayer content this generation, and I think that that is really good to hear if you're a PlayStation fan. Let's go ahead and take a look at the poll of the day, though. We did get reviews for Pokemon Legend Arceus yesterday, and it seems like this is going to be a really good game, so I wanted to ask you all. Pokemon Legends Arceus will be out tomorrow on January 28th, and if you have a Nintendo Switch, are you picking it up this weekend? Well, it does seem like most of you are not necessarily a fan of Pokemon per se, as only 28% of you said yes, while 57% of you said no. Now, some of you all did mention that you're saving your money for another game such as Dying Light 2, which I can completely understand that. You can always pick up Pokemon Legends Arceus later. But I think those of you that are looking forward to this game, it does seem like this is going to be an excellent Pokemon game. It's just so different and refreshing compared to some of the Pokemon games that we've seen in the past. See, heading up to this release, I said that I was optimistically cautious about this game because it is interesting in the sense that it is different, but at the same time, I was worried that it wouldn't be as good as what fans were anticipating. So it is really nice to see the reviews come out, and it ended up turning out to be a really good game. One other thing that will be interesting about this, though, is just to kind of see what happens with the Pokemon franchise going forward. I feel like some people are kind of looking at this game kind of thinking that the next mainline Pokemon game will be kind of like this, but at the same time, technically Legends Arceus is a spinoff. It, however, does seem like that they are experimenting here, which is really good to see because they could take some of the ideas that worked for this game and really expand on that with the mainline entries or with another Legends style of game. I mean, it does seem like Game Freak has been trying a little bit more with this open world style of gameplay. They kind of did that with the wild area in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and then they also did a little bit more with that with some of the expansions for that game, and now we're also seeing them experiment with that here in Legends Arceus. So I feel like that they might be heading a little bit more into that direction, but if they were to do that, they would have to combine that with how the mainline of Pokemon games feel, with all the different gym battles, the Pokemon trainers, and then also a big focus on the competitive side of Pokemon. Speaking of that, though, that is something else that they seem to be experimenting a little bit here with in Legends Arceus. They're changing up how the turn-based formula actually works, and that is the part that I'm very, very curious about. I want to see how that works, and it's just another reason that I'm really excited to play Pokemon Legends Arceus myself. Such a huge fan of Pokemon. Cannot wait to pick this up and play it tomorrow. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.